Hello and welcome. This is Business Time, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And my name is William Kumwembe. In the program today, we look at how the agriculture sector seems to be losing its grip as food imports seen doubling within 2 decades. And also in the program, we speak with some people involved in food business, how the COVID-19 pandemic is taking a toll on their business and how they are remaining afloat amid the challenging environment with some innovative and brilliant ideas. That's inside Business Time. Hello and welcome. In our main story in the program today, Malawi remains an agrarian economy, meaning the backbone of the economy remains agriculture. However, in the recent past, agriculture's input to the national economy has been dwindling. As if that is not enough, a recent report from Mapata indicates that the country has seen a surge in terms of food imports in the past 2 decades, posing a threat to the sustainability of the sector and survival of the economy. As if that is not enough, this means the country has been for long enough exporting jobs that would have been beneficial to the local populace. Now, what does this mean for the future of the Malawi's economy, which, as commentators say, remains fragile? Our journalist Justin Mkweu has the whole story in this report.
This is despite being called an agri-based economy. We are here today at the 2IM farm in Chileka, Blantyre, where we will be talking with the administrator of the farm, Tamanda Mlanga, who will be explaining to us, letting us know why is it that as a country we can't process, we don't process, we sell it raw. That's the main problem. How is it costing Malawi? And how is it costing the farmers? And what should be done? We'll be finding out. Where I'm standing now, I'm standing at an okra garden. They are calling it the green leaf garden. Where do you start from and where do you end?
Okay, as for me, when I grow my things, I can sell them locally to the community, but I can also do the seed and sell to the whole country. In terms of preserving, because we just do it locally, I'm not too sure if what we preserve in Malawi has got a food value at the end of it when we just do it the sun dry. But our friends have got maybe rooms where they do their the drying of things. They do in rooms. So in Malawi, it's a challenge where processing of things, we just do them locally. We don't have the machines that they can aid us or they can help us to do at a larger quantity.
Well, as you have said, it is required that maybe there should be some type of machinery that should help in the preservation of the okra so that it is kept the way it is from the garden rather than just drying it. As we have said, that this farm has got a garden and it also has a section where there are livestock. We should get to the livestock. As we indicated that we will be going into the livestock section also to see how Malawi can benefit. Why is it that Malawi is importing more food than exporting, despite the country being called an agri-based economy, whereby the world expect that maybe we will be exporting more. We will be exporting more of milk, processed milk. We will be exporting more of everything. But if we export raw products. Why? We are here to find out, and we are here at the farm.
If we can have maybe small machinery that can be producing, maybe help us to have the powder milk, the cheese locally, it means a lot more people that they don't know the the product, they will know it, because locally it is locally found. But if you go out there and ask anyone, do you know cheese? It's just a few people that will say, yes, we know cheese. But do you know powdered milk? No, we don't know it. But these are some of the products that everyone would like to have them at the cheaper cost. They've got nutrients that brings to the body. So yeah, government should do something to the local farmers. They should do, the cooperatives should come back. Then they can bring small machineries in those areas. Then we can be processing some things. If at all they can do even loans where you cannot be a cooperative, but you're just an individual, you can be getting the loan, accessing the loan, then you buy the machine, then you also help the small farmers. You'll be buying their milk, their meat, and process it into something.
The livestock that I'm carrying in my hand right now is a duck. In many other countries, this can be processed, can be killed and then processed to a load of other things. But in Malawi, well, we just kill it and eat it. It is not only farmers like the 2IM farm who fail to benefit what they would have benefited if the country was to commercialize agriculture and put it where it is supposed to be. It is also the country which is suffering from this. Our balance of payment continues to widen despite us being called an agri-based economy and relying much on agriculture. We should have been increasing our GDP and lowering the balance of payment. As you have heard, as we have seen, there's more which need to be done. And unless we commercialize agriculture and put it where it is supposed to be, we will continue suffering, we will continue getting poor. Maybe that is what we want, but we will continue.
Now, there is a popular opinion out there that food business does not lie, meaning the business is resilient, as at most each and everyone at some point needs to eat. However, advent of COVID-19, precisely the second wave, has had a fair knock on each and every sector of the economy, which means those in food business are not spared. Now, some people are engaging in some innovative ways to remain relevant and still be in business amid the pandemic. We caught up with one of the people that are involved in food business, precisely in Blantyre, to share their experience, how they are surviving the test of time.
I'm Togo Kazima. My husband is David Kazima, but I'm Nipunisa. We've just had the restaurant for 2 years. We started in 2018. I have a friend, Mrs. Chigoga. She has a restaurant. So I was telling her that the business I want a business that can be giving me cash every day. So he said, why can't you just try a restaurant? It's at least with that one, it's cash. People cannot just come and take food on credit. I said, oh, is it? He said, yeah, let's go and try. So we went together to China, and she's the one who helped me a lot to buy the things that you see in here. Yeah, so I bought them in China. For COVID-19, like for the first time, that time when it started, it really affected us much. like for sales, indeed they went down. But now, this time, starting from January, the second wave, I should say, it hasn't affected us much like the way it affected us the first wave. Like for us coming here every day, but with this COVID-19, what I can say is we survived because of the grace of God. Because we meet with a lot of people. Also, because of the protection of the mask, we have got always sanitizer. Because when I touch money, there's no way I can also touch food. So we make sure that the person who touches money, if I tell the girls not to touch money, because they should just tell the person to come and pay in front, so that money, we should not be in contact with food, the money. And this COVID, the second wave, because it's very bad, we make sure that each and every day, from here, when I go back home, I take a bath first. All the uniforms, we wash them in hot water each and every day. Even all the utensils here that we use, before we serve the customer, we make sure that we wash them they are cleaned in the place they are cleaned in hot water. Like for the tables, they are washed also in hot water.
Now, as Area alluded to, food output has been shaken in the recent past. So is the production of tobacco, Malawi's top export crop. In the past 10 years, we have seen both output and revenue from tobacco going down. Last year was one of the years to forget to some farmers, as they could not make the most of their toil. Our journalist Feston Malekezo went to Kapuafu in Mzimba to speak with some of tobacco farmers to share their experience of last year and the expectation for this year. He has the whole story in this report.
The satellite depot was closed because it sells an average of 2,000 bales, which is contrary to the new Tobacco Act, which stipulates that every market that sells less than 5,000 bales should be closed. Traditional Authority Mperembe of Mzimba district, a farmer, says the closure of the market has reduced the bargaining power that farmers have over their tobacco.
When we had the market operating from here, it was a great opportunity for farmers to see what auctioning or direct marketing of their crop means. They could bargain with the buyers and get better prices. But also, the day they are selling their crop, they could just walk in without necessarily catching a bus going to Mzuzu. So that's the difference.
Another farmer, Richard Piri, says the COVID-19 precautionary measures that were set during the last season's tobacco market were not favorable for the farmers. Piri feels most of them were duped and given unfair prices despite producing quality leaf because they were not allowed to participate in the market activities. Another farmer, Titus Malaso, says the past 5 years tobacco has been fetching low prices, prompting more farmers to withdraw their labor. In his remarks, Tobacco Commission Chief Executive Officer Joseph Chidanti Malunga concurs with the farmers that the issue of pricing is bigger that needs a sober approach to be rectified.
The issue of pricing is a big issue that we have to deal with as a commission. The demand for tobacco has been declining over the years. The morale for growing tobacco also has been declining. There are several issues, it's a mosaic of issues that we can bring together and find the reason why this is the case. So it is our task to find out how we can revamp the market. We need to sit down properly and listen to everyone else in the industry, buyers, growers, name it, even people that just look at tobacco as tobacco from afar. They also have a voice. So let's listen to everyone and see how best we can do this. But I would like to admit that indeed the issue of pricing is a big issue in as far as this industry is concerned.
Meanwhile, the farmers are optimistic that with the new government in place, this year's tobacco season could be better than any other. The revenue from tobacco sales fell to $174.5 million in 2020 compared to $237 million in 2019, after trading a total of 112.8 million kgs of tobacco.
Remember, this is Business Time, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories that are making headlines in the country. We'll be right back, and when we get back, ICT experts punch holes in the proposed data protection law. That's when we get back inside Business Time. Welcome back. This is Business Time, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines. And moving on in the program, the government is working on an ICT-related law dubbed the Data Protection Bill. It is aimed at bringing sanity in the industry. Now, some ICT experts were discussing the provisions of the proposed law and found some areas that needs fixing prior to bringing the law to Parliament for deliberation. Our journalist Chimwemwe Mangazi followed a virtual discussion of the provisions of the law and filed this report.
During a virtual meeting organized by the ICT Association of Malawi, the specialists took turns to highlight areas that need to be amended before the bill is taken to Parliament. Chief Executive Officer of Converged Technology Networks, Brian Longwe, took part in the meeting.
There are a couple of issues, I think, that the industry at large has with the way in which the bill has been formulated. The chief of which is the fact that it places all the responsibility for implementation as well as actions related to enforcement on MACRA. And this has been a worrisome trend in recent legislation around ICT. For some reason, all of the recent legislations and policies seem to be loading more and more responsibilities on MACRA. And the question many of us in industry are asking is, will MACRA be able to cope? As it is, just because of maybe past regimes, MACRA has not been effective, even its primary mandate as given under the Communications Act, which is regulating the telecommunications and broadcasting sector, providing and ensuring that consumers are getting quality for service, quality for money from the mobile operators, from the internet service providers, from the TV and radio broadcasters, etc.
MariChoice Africa Director for Regulatory Affairs, Lloyd Momba, said the bill is also silent on existing codes of conduct for processing existing data in specific sectors. In an interview, ICTAM President Bram Fudzulani said the comments and ideas shared would be submitted to the government for consideration.
What is going to happen is the government of Malawi, through the Minister of Information, has opened a window for collecting comments from the general public up until on the 26th of this month. So we're collecting all the comments, and then we'll submit them as an umbrella body from various organizations. We know we're working with a number of other stakeholders from the civil side organizations, the human rights bodies, who also have their concerns, and we're collecting all those concerns and comments and submitting to the Malawi government so that they can be considered before the bill is sent to Parliament for passing.
Speaking during the opening of the session, Minister of Information Gospel Kazako said such initiatives are essential to ensure that Malawi moves with speed in developing the ICT industry.
Well, that story also brings us to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Mwembe. Always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Stay safe and goodbye for now.